as well. We'd love to share this with other folks in the adult education industry. So thank you for joining today. We are going to be talking about preparing adult learners for an AI-enabled workforce. And so really excited to talk about this topic with you today. Human IT has been proudly partnering with the adult education industry for a number of years. We've joined the COABE conferences and we've partnered with a variety of institutions to provide technology to their learners. And we've even won some really impressive grants with different literacy organizations across the states. And so we love adult education and adult literacy, and very excited to talk to you today about the AI-enabled workforce piece. And so, what we're going to explore today, this is a professional development session where we are hoping that adult educators will learn more about how to prepare their learners for an AI-enabled workforce, and that adult educators will walk away from this course understanding how AI is reshaping work, including for the type of jobs that adult learners will often find themselves in. We will also talk about how the adult education classroom, whether that is in person, virtual, whatever the case may be, can adapt to this shift. And really, we will share a few things that Human IT has that can support the work that you all do and be free tools that you all use to help support these working adults and these people who are looking to educate themselves. And lastly, we will leave with some actual activities and ready to use ideas for how to introduce AI concepts into your instruction in your classroom. All right, so we'll start with a quiz here a little bit. We're gonna play a fun game. So in your heads, or maybe if you have access to the chat, if you could write your answers in the chat, or if you're listening to the recording, maybe you'll just maybe write it down on a note, and we'll do it that way. So we'll start off with our first fact or fiction question. Okay, fact or fiction, about 1 in 5 US workers now use AI to complete at least some of their job tasks. So you can write either fact or fiction, true or false into the chat. Lots of facts coming in the chat, and that is true. Yes. 21% of US workers are now doing at least some of their work with AI, artificial intelligence. All right, our next fact or fiction question. AI skills are among the fastest growing skills requested by employers. Is that true or false? Is that fact or fiction? You can write it in the chat. We're getting some truths, some facts. That is correct. Yes, 70% of the skills used in most jobs are expected to change, with AI being a major driver of that change. I'm sure there's a few of you on the call right now that have changed your how you do the work that you do within the last, few months or perhaps the last year, and that you're using AI. Okay, our last factor fiction. Only younger workers are using AI. Is that true or false? Fact or fiction? Oh, we're getting some falses and some fictions in the chat, and that is correct. Workers under 50 are more likely to use AI at work, 17 versus 13% for workers 50 plus. But AI use exists across all age groups. So no matter what your age is, you can benefit from these tools. Now you're probably wondering, who are these folks talking to us? And you should know who that we are. So I'm going to do a brief introduction to myself, and then we'll share a little video about Human IT, and then Leela is going to introduce herself. I'm Charles Pellicane. I'm our Senior Vice President of Strategy at Human IT. I've been with the organization for over 7 years. We are a nonprofit social enterprise. I actually started as a volunteer back when I was working in the corporate world, fell in love with the mission, fell in love with the people doing the work, and here I am over 7 years later. But what is Human IT? Well, I think this video will say it better than I can. Leela, you might have to take yourself off mute to hear the audio.
Can you hear or is there a little bit of technical difficulties? Let me try again.
Yeah.
equitable access to opportunities by providing devices, internet access, digital skills training, the technical support for communities left on the wrong side of the digital divide. If we didn't really lean into our passion and really handle head on all the challenges that we faced over this last decade, we couldn't be here in this facility like this. We wouldn't be able to hire all of the great, passionate employees that we have here at Human IT. Human IT acquires e-waste from organizations of all types, kinds, and sizes. We really pride ourselves on giving organizations and people the opportunity to do good. And we really want to make that easy. Since we were founded in 2012, we have collected over 10 million pounds of e-waste. Each one of those devices that we bring in is kept out of landfills, and those toxic materials don't leach into the groundwater, don't leach into our soils, and we protect the environment with each device we bring in.
So I said that maybe the video would say it better than I could, but it ended up being me in the video, a little bit younger version of myself. So that's a little bit about Human IT, and now I'll have Leela introduce herself.
Thanks, Charles. Hi, everyone. My name is Lila Cedmeño, and I'm the Community Outreach Manager with Human IT. I've been with Human IT about 2 years now. Same with Charles. I really fell in love with the passion and the mission statement behind Human IT, getting people connected. So it's been really great to have that role and to be here with you all today. I wanted to touch a little bit on the digital divide and how folks who don't have access to certain technologies may be left behind, but I just wanted to see if you could drop it in the chat or just raise your hand if you've heard of the digital divide before or know what it involves or if there's any prior knowledge that folks might have about this. If not, no worries. Okay, we have some heard of it. Yes, makes total sense. You all are experts in this field, so I'll just go ahead and skip this portion of the video.
The digital divide.
Really wanted to go. But as you all know, with the digital divide, it's so essential for folks to have access to technology. If they don't, they miss out on a lot of critical opportunities that could support them in workforce development, getting them connected to telehealth services or social services. And so as AI has begun to emerge in these last couple years, it's really become another way that folks are increasing their divide to getting access to those opportunities. So while the traditional digital divide is definitely the foundation that folks need to have in order to feel confident using AI, we want to make sure that that foundation is established, and then we're leading them on to phase two, which is getting them feeling comfortable and confident using AI. That involves just knowing what AI tools are, understanding the limitations behind that, evaluating the information that AI is giving you, and just ultimately using AI responsibly. Like I mentioned previously, that foundation is really essential to get folks established before we move them forward in their journey of getting them connected to AI. So at Human IT, we really strive to provide holistic support to getting connected. So a lot of times folks think this means just giving them a device, but as I'm sure it's become aware in the work that you do, it's a multifaceted process of getting someone access to a device that is low cost, that's affordable, getting them connected to internet, getting them the basic computer skills needed to operate that device, to get it connected to internet, and then making sure they have support along the way. So if you notice that individuals may be needing that additional support, we have options available. We have hotspots at $15 a month. That's a really flexible option, just so folks can have that foundation established before we move on to that next step of getting them connected fully to AI. All of our digital literacy courses are completely free. They're self-paced and they're online. So it's a really great flexible option for folks who may have untraditional schedules or just need something really easy and flexible that they can learn with. Our basic computer skills is available in English and Spanish. And anyone who completes any of our courses gets a certificate of completion, which you'll see in a later slide. And it's always a great way to celebrate that accomplishment or put on your LinkedIn. And so we have basic computer skill courses available that will teach you how to use a mouse, how to use a keyboard, get onto Windows and Chrome, and we'll touch on some internet safety topics as well. And if you ever get stuck taking any of our courses, we have a live tutor available over the phone, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you'll have to make a slight time frame adjustment. But these tutors are really great if you're ever stuck on a particular question or module. They can help guide you through it and provide any insight needed. Because everyone has different goals when coming into our digital skills training, we have personalized learning plans available so that when you complete our intake form, you can list any goals that you have, and we'll automatically create a custom learning plan based off those goals. So we'll make sure if you're maybe wanting to learn digital skills to do telehealth doctor's appointments online, apply for jobs, learn budgeting, just understanding how to better connect with family, we have different learning options available to meet those needs. I'll pass it back off to Charles to talk about how AI is being implemented in the workforce and in classrooms.
Yes. So thank you, Leila, for sharing a bit about, some of our base digital literacy offerings. And we hope that that can support and supplement the great work that you all are already doing in your classrooms. And perhaps you have folks that may need that to be able to even do some of the work that you're doing. And hopefully that can be a benefit to you all. As Leila mentioned, and maybe I mentioned as well, AI isn't coming. It is, of course, already here. You all identified that a lot of you are already using AI to do portions of your work. Um, According to this study, 76% of employees are now using AI at work, and that almost every company is planning to increase AI investment over the next few years, with almost half of jobs skills expecting to be changed soon. And of course, there's some controversy there as far as is AI going to take jobs or will it create jobs? And will workers need new training as a result? You can see there are some studies that believe almost 80 million net new jobs are expected to be created as a result of AI revolution. When we think about AI on the job, it's easy sometimes to think about, oh, maybe, certain trades or skills using them, even perhaps you all getting help with your lessons plans or different things of that nature. But for most skilled workers, AI is showing up as just everyday tools to make their work faster and safer. These aren't going to be robots necessarily. You can see some areas where AI is already helping in some different blue collar and skilled trades as far as trucking and logistics and manufacturing. Here at Human IT, we have two warehouse facilities that take in the technology you mentioned in the video and actually process those. And so we have a number of what could be considered blue collar or skilled trades within our facility as far as people taking in logistics teams taking in that equipment, dedicated teams wiping that equipment, inventory teams, shipping groups, logistics groups, etc. And all of our staff are trained on using AI to support their communications, to support any analysis they may need to do, to support any research they need to do within our systems as well. And you can see some of the tasks that AI can help a worker complete. And those are some of the things that we're having our workers use it for on a day-to-day basis with some great success. And some of these are folks that when they joined our organization, we have a gentleman within our shipping group who was nascent to computer technology, was very struggled at just entering fields into our platforms. And now this person is able to interact with AI chatbots to support if this person's first language is in English, but to be able to support their rough messages into professionalized documents and reports, which is really incredible to see. And so we believe that AI is really an augmentation of the work that is out there and not replacements. AI can't, of course, build a data center. There's going to be lots of data centers that are going to be built. We are seeing a lot of skilled trade demand rising across different sectors, and a lot of these contractors are already using or testing AI to support their work, whether that's drafting invoices, drafting reports, creating quotes, whatever the case may be, doing research into problem solving. We can see this is really popping up, and ultimately, those who have the skill are going to be in a far better position than those who do not. And so that's why this matters to you and to the folks in your classroom. You know, AI literacy, just the way that digital literacy is core to workforce readiness and to be able to fully participate in society, AI literacy is soon to be at that same place. You know, you can't even do a Google search anymore without kind of that the AI responses coming up first. And so understanding what that is, how to navigate it, and how to interact with it is hugely critical. And in human IT, we believe that adult educators are uniquely positioned to teach about AI to a very critical workforce and critical subset of our society that needs the help. You know, your learners are often in the jobs that AI is changing, and so that confidence with AI tools can be a real competitive advantage for them. When we have folks who we are looking to hire at our facilities, having some of that skill is something we definitely put as a preference for sure. And so there is a risk to waiting. So no decision is a decision. No action is an action, right? Not teaching and training these skills is already starting to drive a divide between those who can use them and those who cannot. And the folks who are getting more and more exposed to AI are going to be in a far better position as time continues. So now let's talk about bringing AI into your classroom. I'm sure you're already doing this. I'm sure there's a lot of different things that you're already doing on a day-to-day basis, but how can we share some things with you all that maybe will change or add to what you're doing already? So we see there to be really four building blocks to AI literacy. As the educator, you don't need to be a tech expert. It really is easy to provide some strong instruction with just these few simple areas, right? If you understand what it is and what it isn't and how these tools work in plain language, that's going to allow you to pass that, of course, on to the people that you're working with. You know, when we think about what AI is, there is, of course, the chat bots that we are often interacting with. We see it in search, and now there's new different code platforms and co-working platforms that people can use that can support them to do their job. And it's so important to take that understanding and then to apply it. So that's what we really believe in is, you know, how can we get people using technology and it's really going to benefit them every day in things that they're actually going to use it on? Of course, you can use AI to plan a trip for you or to help you create a budget or to help do meal planning, which is something for everyone. And so those are just hands-on kind of practice tasks that folks can do to use AI for real everyday things. You know, sometimes folks will share one thing that I really love and would have maybe appreciated more when I was in college was you can take like the ingredients you have in your fridge or in your pantry and tell it to AI and it can help you create like a really good recipe or something like that. You know, you can also use AI. A lot of adult learners are in the place where they may be looking to apply for jobs or work on their resume or to take the adult education, finish out that coursework, and then add that to their resume and apply for jobs. And you can use AI to help modify your resume based on different job descriptions and those things. Now, of course, it's important to evaluate, you know, is the AI producing the right results? And so that's another building block of AI literacy is making sure that people understand that they can't just accept the results as is, but just with any product that's handed to us by a person or a robot or anything else that we need to check it for accuracy and bias. And lastly, there is, of course, the importance to act responsibly, both at work and in school with the tools of AI. So here's some ways that you can practically bring AI into your classroom and layering it onto what you already teach with no new curriculum needed or no new software or anything like that, right? So starting with real tasks, things that learners already do. I mentioned fixing resumes, working on budgets, writing emails is a big one. I use it all the time. I don't write my own emails. I just put the email into the chat and say, write the response. And you might think to yourself, you're like, Charles, you seem like a relatively intelligent human being. Why don't you just write your own emails? That seems like it should be something pretty easy to do. Why are you having the robots write your emails for you? And it's because I don't want to take on that cognitive load of making sure I have the proper response. Instead, I've already trained my co-working task to know how I write, how what my tone is, and how I want to respond to people. And it just makes me that much faster. I also like to procrastinate. So something will go onto my to-do list and it will sit there and I will create this huge nebulous idea of how much work it's going to be just to write this email. And now that work is eliminated because I know I can just do a quick copy paste and it's off to go. And my responsiveness as even a leader has improved probably on my emails by about anywhere I'd say from 48 to 72 hours because of this. And so that's a great task that folks are going to have to do in their work. Of course, you all modeling it live, sharing what you all use it for, and showing that to your learners even is going to be very important. Teaching that prompting is a skill, not to um, replace thinking, but to supplement it and to augment it and to just move faster through the process. And definitely there's a lot of opportunity to support multilingual classrooms as a result. Um, often I say that getting like 90% of the way there is a lot better than being at 0%. And so if you have materials that are maybe not in a language that you need them in, again, getting to that 80 or 90% is not a terrible thing. Um, and as I mentioned, and I will continue to mention, using it as a coworker, using it as a partner, but not a replacement for your own learning. So here's a couple of activities. I won't read through all of these. I think I've hit some of these already, but I think these are some good examples of activities that can be done right away that will really benefit folks that are using them. Handing a written document to an AI text and then asking it to edit it for you, calling out punctuation and grammar and those types of things, is a great way for folks to see immediate value. Working on prompts and taking them from vague to better is a skill that everyone could use. And of course, I've mentioned email rewrites and mock job applications and things like that, but these are legitimate areas that are very useful to folks when they are looking to apply for jobs or write emails or whatever the case may be. Some fun projects that you can do is doing AI versus human. So doing a task both ways, comparing it and then discussing it, seeing which one is more complete answer, seeing which one is faster. That is always a fun way to do it. They used to do like the chess masters would play against the robots. And at first they were like, there's no way a robot will ever beat a chess master. And now the chess masters don't stand a chance. Now, a lot of this, of course, relies on computer devices to be able to do this. Without the computer device, it gets very, very difficult to demonstrate artificial intelligence. There is an exercise that I put here in case you don't have any devices in your classroom. You can do like an unplugged version where you split the class into different sections. You have one group come up with the input as far as what do we want the AI to do. You have another group that's the AI or the algorithm that processes that input. And then lastly, you have a judge team that judges how the algorithm or the AI team solved for the input that was put in. And what this can demonstrate is the importance of putting in clear inputs, the importance of prompting, and then also the importance of validation. So it's a way that you can teach AI and how it works in the process of it, even without computers. All right, so a very important piece. Now, when I was at the COABE conference recently, a lot of discussion went into that in the rooms that I was a part of. How do we get folks to use AI responsibly, right? How do we, these are folks who maybe have limited English literacy, or maybe they have limited education, or maybe they just have limited digital literacy, or whatever the case is. How do we now layer on another level of literacy and challenges that AI brings to the table? And I think it's so important, as we mentioned, as part of those four building blocks um, to teaching AI is so important to teach AI responsibly and to bake that into all of the exercises that you're doing to consistently remind folks that although AI can seem super confident, it is very easy that it could be hallucinating and making something up, to always kind of double check the results the same way you would if you gave a human a task and you asked a human to complete something that you were ultimately accountable for. You would still want to validate that human's results before you just submitted the work, right? It's like if you're working on a group project, you're working on a team with somebody and someone works on part of the group project, it's probably good to read their part before turning it in. Um, it's good to speak to folks about privacy, right? And some of the challenges that could happen with privacy. I know here we put don't enter any of this personal, medical, or employer confidential information. Of course, some employers have their own systems which you can enter that in. I probably enter too much information into it, but making sure that folks understand that there is a privacy piece there as well. And just openly naming the concerns about accuracy and privacy is really important. Great. Now, talking about how do we take these things that we've learned in the classroom, how do we take some of these activities that maybe we can do in the classroom as far as teaching people prompts or having people work through resumes or emails or, whatever the case may be, and how do we bring that into the career, right? So, how do we take and connect AI skills to real work outcomes? Um, Really making sure that the adult learners are comfortable with it is I think the responsibility of adult education. As folks are working through their coursework or working through their literacy coursework, instituting it as part of the methodology, part of the pedagogy, instead of separate from it, right? Like it shouldn't be here is all your coursework and then here is your AI work. It is like, how do we really start putting some of this AI native activities and exercises into what we're already doing with folks? And maybe that's even, personalized lesson plans or whatever the case may be that you all are supporting through your own AIs. And so um, again, making sure that people aren't afraid of the tool but are embracing it, I think is something that's very critical in this moment because I have heard some concerns about it, but unfortunately, while we are waiting and concerned, others are learning it and getting far ahead. It's like the printing press, perhaps. Some people probably thought it was dangerous and useless and it made too many mistakes. And how could anything be better than writing by hand? And of course, nobody is writing books by hand anymore. We are using printing presses, if not using talk to type to get them into computers and those types of things. So, tools change, adaptability is really the skill. And as adult educators, teaching people that lifelong learning mindset, including AI in that, is so critical. So thank you for doing so. All right, I have probably gone over my time, so we are not going to spend too much time on this slide in the discussions, but I think this is, a few hypotheticals for us maybe to just think over as far as where are your learners already encountering AI? Are they using it at home? Are they using it at work? And if anyone has any examples, feel free to throw that in the chat of ways that you already know that your learners are encountering AI. Or maybe are there already tasks in your classroom where you're already using AI or that you could incorporate AI this month, perhaps? Um, yeah, sounds like okay. Alexa devices. Yeah, that's a great example of folks already encountering AI. Definitely on your smartphones. If you have one of the newer smartphones, there's even an AI button on the side, which I really love and encounter with all the time because I'm walking around the neighborhood and I never know what the plants are. And Yes, so on the iPhone, I think I have a 17, and I usually don't have the newer phone. So this is one of the first times in my life I do. I'm very, very pleased with myself. On the iPhone 17, there's a button on the lower right-hand side of the device, and you just kind of walk up to like a plant or whatever it is, and you can hold the button. It will scan the image, and it will tell you it will try to tell you what that plant is, and oftentimes it is correct. So it is a very cool thing. And I know there's been apps like that before, and I've downloaded them and then never used them because I'm not going to open up the app. But just pressing the button on the side to see it is a very, very cool thing. And so, yes, definitely in smartphones, people are interacting with it. And so those are just some cool areas that are really useful that you can try yourselves and have your learners try as well. Yeah, smart TVs, right? Even Netflix, right? So if you have a Netflix subscription, Netflix is using AI algorithms to see how long you're watching different shows and which shows you happen to rewatch more, and then it is going to escalate those recommendations to you as a result of that. It's the same with any kind of social media platform. It is going to gauge your attention through your eyeballs and how long you sit on something, and then show you more of those things. Yes, it tells you what you should watch. It says this is going to be good for you. And so that's how your learners, they're already interacting with these things. And so having the knowledge over what's happening and how they can best set those things up for their success is important, right? If you have no idea how the algorithm works, you may just assume your feed is the same as everyone else's feed. But if you understand how the algorithm works, you can then rewire it. So rather than maybe being sent images or videos of things that are unproductive or things you don't want to see, you can get the type of messages and the type of communications you actually maybe more consciously want versus subconsciously. So some great ways and some great examples of how folks are already interacting with artificial intelligence. So just a few things to take back with you before we actually show you a free tool that we have available for your learners as far as a supplement. And we would actually love it if you all wanted to use this course in your classrooms, walk people through it, guide people through it, build on your own coursework around it. We are giving it to the adult education industry to use however you all best see. So I think I've already hit on a lot of these ideas and strategies. I won't go back over those. I think we've talked about a lot of great ideas that we can bring back into the adult education classroom. And here's some of the resources listed as mentioned that are available to you. And I'll actually pass it back to Leela so we can go more in depth on that free offering that we have for adult education.
Definitely. Super excited to talk about this part. It's always great to share resources, and hopefully, this can just be another tool in your toolkit that you can be incorporating into lessons plans or even walking students through it. But our AI course is completely free and it goes over a lot of those core topics that we mentioned. Understanding what AI is, understanding how to use it as a practical tool, not just with administrative work, but just being a professional in the workplace, understanding how to communicate with others. And so it starts from a really great beginner standpoint. It doesn't assume any prior knowledge. And from there, there's different modules with different takeaways that provide a lot of meaningful insight into how AI is being implemented in our workforce. So this kind of provides a really broad overview of some of the different modules that we have, and each of these modules dive deep into different lessons and different quizzes or exercises that you can do. And so some of the course topics cover what is AI? How do you safely use it? AI tools for basic text tasks, how to use AI to enhance professional communication. That one's a real gem that I think not a lot of people think about, but can be really easily incorporated and just elevate your professional development. We also have how to creatively use AI in the workplace. So some outside the box ideas that maybe folks didn't inherently think of, but can still be really beneficial. And then how to use AI to handle tough conversations in the workplace. Always super helpful to know, even from any, standpoint. And just a brief overview of alternative AI tools. So wanting to make sure people have a good understanding of the different AI tools available so that they can pick one that best meets their needs. This is an example of the certificate that individuals will receive when they complete our course. So it's signed by our CEO, our co-founder, Gabe Middleton. And it's a really great way to highlight this accomplishment on a resume or on a LinkedIn post. And now we can jump into the fun demo. I actually clicked this link and I previously logged in, so we can jump right into what our AI course looks like. So these are the modules that I spoke about. Each module has different lessons within it and quizzes that folks can take to see where their knowledge is at. We have ethical uses of AI. That's super important. Just very beginner friendly, how to just open and start using ChatGPT. Sometimes just getting on the platform and making that jump can sometimes feel like a hurdle. So this module will even walk you through the basics. And as we go lower, we can start to see that topics become more advanced. So determining if it's an AI image or video. I've been tricked a couple times on social media, seeing dogs all walking together for Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos, and then just to find out, oh, these are all AI dogs. No way they were all gathering. So it's definitely important for little moments like that. That's, a little bit of a funnier story, but always important to understand if what content you're seeing, how to tell if you're being scammed, super important as well. And then I think if you guys would like, we can actually jump into one of these lessons and just take a quick look at what it looks like. Let me know in the chat if any of these topics look interesting. I'll just name out a few. Creating lists with AI, useful lists, writing emails with AI, how to use AI to enhance customer service greetings, and how to use AI to better understand and explain products, improving public speaking with AI, organization procedures, enhance organization. Love it. Let's do it. We're going to watch a couple minutes of this so you can take a look and see what individuals might be utilizing.
In this video, so we'll go over how ChatGPT can help with a common and important milestone at work, onboarding new coworkers. Let's say you are a cashier at a fast food restaurant and you're asked to onboard a new hire, which is something you've never done before. You also want to make sure the onboarding process is as accommodating as possible for the new hire. Luckily, you can use ChatGPT to brainstorm ideas, provide documents, and even create a script for orientation practice, all in a quick and efficient manner. Just like in our previous videos, we'll start by logging into ChatGPT. And for this prompt, we'll start with a task to provide tips and topics for the onboarding process of our new employee. Here's an example of what that would look like. Next, we'll add our roles as contacts for more relevant tips and topics. And now we have some starting topics we can include in our new coworkers onboarding. To make these topics even more relevant, feel free to add additional role experiences or common industry procedures now in the above prompt. Once we're done with that, we'll take some time to review, edit, and pick out the topics we want to go over during the onboarding process. Next, let's take this a step further and ask ChatGPT to turn these tips into a document for the new hire so that they can review it as we perform their onboarding. Here's an example of what that would look like.
Now notice that the new hire has a document to accommodate them on their orientation day. We can even take this accommodation one step further and also provide a visual aid for any of these topics. For this example, we'll create a helpful diagram of the customer service key points to include in the generated document. Remember, there are many ways to write an AI prompt to generate an image, and this is just one example asking for engagement and clarity of instructions that I am about to provide.
Nice. I'll pause right there so maybe we can take a look at another video. But just a really great example of just with this one topic in terms of how to organize information. With the example listed, the individual didn't even really know where to start, what topics to touch on. Not only was it able to sort of give that individual a starting off point, it was even able to create a document and then from that document create a diagram. So really great resource to be incorporated within lesson plans. If this is a particular topic you've noticed students are really wanting some support on, it might be great to walk them through this module, pause at certain sections, and let them follow along on their own devices. I'll go ahead and take a second to go back so we can check out one other module. We'll actually take a look at what a quiz looks like. Let me do what I haven't done before. This is a quiz on how to use AI responsibly. I'll answer on my own, but if folks have what they think the answer might be, there's 6 questions total, so really quick way to gauge your information or your current knowledge on a certain topic. First question is, which of the following personal information should never be shared with AI tools? Personal health information, credit card, passwords, home address, social security. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say all. That's what the chat is also reaffirming. Next page. You want to use AI to help organize inventory reports. What's the first step? Start with an AI tool immediately to get the job done. Check with your coworker to see if you should use AI. Tell your coworker you're going to use AI, or check with your supervisor or manager first to see which AI tools would be appropriate for the task. Anyone want to take a guess? I agree. I think D is correct. Your organization or certain organizations may have pre-approved AI models that they're wanting to utilize or AI tools, so it's always important to check. Next one, because AI tools are built using state-of-the-art technology, you can always trust the information they're going to provide is accurate. Someone saying I would do an A, but D is the right answer for the previous one. I love that. For this one, Charles went over this information really well. So I'm going to say false. You always want to make sure, even with a person, even with a coworker, you're double checking that information. So same applies with AI. What can happen when you're with the information that you use when interacting with an AI tool? It's kept completely private. It's shared with your employer. It becomes public information. The company providing the service may use it to improve the AI tool that you were using. Anyone want to take a guess? This one's a little bit trickier for sure. I'm going to go with the company providing the service may want to improve the AI tool that we were using. D, someone else agrees with me. Last 2 questions. We'll try and go quick. You're working with a document that contains sensitive workplace information. What approach should you use before sharing it with AI? Replace specific names and identities, print it out, share it exactly as is. Never use AI with any workplace documents. B, replace specific names and identities. I would agree. B. Okay, two B's. That's what we'll choose. And then last one, what's a simple security measure that is recommended when using AI tools? Use the same password. Only access AI tools through publicly available computers, like in libraries. Share your account only with coworkers or use strong, unique passwords with two-factor authentication. D, everyone loves it. Me too. Finishing the attempt. Submit all and finish. We scored 100%. So this is a really great way if after you complete a module, you want to check and see, make sure all the concepts were understood, or if you even want to use this as maybe a preliminary kind of survey, see where folks' information lies, see if there's any weak points before jumping in and seeing if this is a module you want to incorporate within your lesson. I'll go ahead and go back to our initial presentation. That'll be how we wrap up our live demo. You got a little bit of a taste of the different modules we have, the lesson plans within them, what those videos look like, the topics that they cover, and then how we can test knowledge through our quizzes. If anyone is interested in getting started, or you have a student, or you want to test out the course yourself and see how it can be implemented into the material that you're covering, it's super easy to get started. You can get started in 3 steps. You would first fill out our digital training intake form. You don't even need an email to get started with our free digital skills training. You can just put your phone number. It doesn't matter what part of the digital journey you're at. Even if you don't have an email, you can get started. Your email or your phone number will be your initial username. Your password will be provided to you. It's smarthuman1 exclamation mark. You'll be prompted to change it, but just for the easiest onboarding process available, everyone will get that same password to start out with. You would then go to our include.humanit.org, enter that username and password, and you'll be able to get started instantly. If you ever need help with that process or want to check in, or maybe your login isn't working, you can always call our line and we'll be happy to help. If there's more information you're seeking or more ways you want to incorporate our resources into your curriculum, then we have additional learning opportunities available. We partner with a lot of really great organizations to expand the knowledge and expand the resources that we want to provide you all. So we have a partnership with the Cisco Network Academy that provides more information on those computer basics, digital independence, and just being confident with navigating online. And then we also have a partnership with the American College of Financial Services for a Know Yourself, Grow Your Wealth. Financial literacy is so important, especially in the digital age where so much banking information and budgeting is done online. So this course is really great for strengthening financial decision making, supporting long-term financial wellness, and just overall building healthier financial habits. And that's it. I'll pause here and see if there's any questions or comments folks have or anything that really stood out. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks everyone. A pleasure to share this information with you all today. And as we mentioned, that course is available to supplement the work that you do, for you to bring it into your classrooms, to teach it if you desire, to share it as you wish. It's a free gift to what we know is a very important industry.
Thank you so much, guys. I think it looks like a wonderful AI program, and I look forward to getting it out to all of our members.
Thanks, Jen.